Thank you so much for having us today. It's an honor to be part of it. And before I start, I would like to do a quick check-in with ourselves, with our body. If you want, close your eyes and just reflect on how are you doing today. How do you feel? We're at this human rights conference forum. Some people you know, some people might be new to you. Did you feel belong? Speaking about belonging, remember a moment when you most felt belong in your life. Why was that the case? What made you feel belong? And now take a moment to think about your dream. Do you have a dream in your life? For your family members, parents, children, relatives, or society? Let's listen to some of our dreams from our SumUpers.
What I really like most about SumUp are the people, and they made me stay here for 8 years.
SumUp is giving us a chance to enrich ourselves by meeting people from everywhere, understanding their culture, their habits, their mindsets, and this is a huge opportunity for each one of us to enrich our personality and even our humanity.
What I like at SumUp is that it's a very open culture. You can be yourself. There's offices in the entire world, so there really are a lot of different people, a lot of different cultures, which all work together, which is really nice.
I really like the mission. I think SumUp is really helping small merchants, and they're doing that in a way that is beneficial to both the merchants and to us as a company in a sustainable way.
I do like everything, to be honest. From where I'm coming from the 20 plus years of experience within the technical sector, I can say this is the most open company I've been ever with.
I'm really passionate about languages, so I really love that SumUp gave me this opportunity to speak in different languages with different people from different countries.
What I love about SumUp, it's the people, and really the environment here is amazing.
The best thing about it is that actually diversity is considered a strength.
The biggest wish on my side, it's for my girls. I want them to grow as a stronger person, to believe on themselves, to believe on who they are, what they can do. It doesn't matter where they live or from where they come or what is the gender. It's just people to accept them as they are.
Actually, everything exceeds my expectations. I don't want to spoil it. So probably, we can add a pool.
I would love to see people expressing themselves more openly, to be able to be themselves, to not be judged about their culture, interest, or gender.
My dream is for the world to be more inclusive, more respectful, because it doesn't matter what you look like, if you look different, which color of your skin. We're all just humans, so we're all the same.
Well, I think that everyone, no matter their sexuality, their age, their ethnicity, their origin, should have the right to express themselves, their true selves, in the best way they can.
One of my biggest dreams too is people from different religions or even people without beliefs in anything to have a educational and good understanding of those different beliefs and to celebrate that differentiation and be together.
My dream is living in a world without fear, where everybody is open-minded and can be themselves without living up to the expectations of the society, and just do what they like, enjoy the ride and live to the fullest.
I think we should be proud as a society for the path we've walked with gender equality at work. I just hope we can keep on walking. I would love to see Sofia becoming this international, diverse, vibrant hub of talent, tech and non-tech.
In Bulgaria particularly, I would like to think that more companies like SumUp how to make business here, and people can join and have the equal opportunities like we have.
At SumUp, we really appreciate diversity and inclusion because it's a human rights issue for us and just the right thing to do, but of course it's also good for our business. Života je šaren, I tova je strahotno. But what if the world was designed for men? We heard fantastic presentations already before, but what if our products that we are using are designed for men? The size of a mobile phone for the size of the hand of the man. Back then even, facial recognition didn't recognize the black face. And speaking about healthcare, the products, the medical products we use benefit men more than women and could actually harm some women. Apple products, for example, back then, or healthcare products, let's not name a company, forgot to include actually the cycle of a woman. But research shows that for some women, having the period is similar to a heart attack. But how often do we speak about that in life? What if it's more often that we judge a woman to be too bossy, too ambitious, but the man, the leader we want to work for, whereas it's the same CV, the same background, and the same behaviors? And what if we already teach our early youngsters the way they should dress, blue or pink, for example, or the way they should behave? There are a few drivers in psychology that I would like to name out now, so you can maybe reflect on what you expect from men, women, and of course there are also other genders. Please others. Be strong, don't show any emotions. Hurry up. Try hard, only if it's really difficult, you might maybe good enough. Be perfect. And of course, there are also very other biases they play out. The way the cities are designed, the way some countries do snow shoveling is more biased towards men, looking at the way they go to work and forgetting the small routes and paths maybe carers have to take. Changing that actually has impacted the financial situation of a country, saving millions of euros in hospital costs. And of course, there are plenty of other examples. But what if over 20%, probably much more over 20%, experience domestic violence and abuse? And when we speak about domestic violence, we don't only mean the physical abuse. There's financial abuse, there's cyber abuse, or emotional abuse. And this impacts also women at work, of course. Where are they sitting? Can the persecutors see them if they're at work or not? Are they able to get to work? And are they maybe hiding some violations on their body? It's of course not to an organization to rescue or solve the situation, but for us it's about recognizing it, then responding and referring the person to the right contacts. And what if about 7 to 10% of our population identify as LGBTQ+, lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, and others? But when I speak to many of them, especially the transgender community, which is probably the most vulnerable community, once they out themselves, they either have to leave home, they lose their family, they lose their friends, they lose their job, letting them end on the streets or being forced into prostitution. And luckily at SumUp we're about 1 to 1.5% TQI in our organization. And speaking to them, it's about not feeling safe and protected within SumUp, but it's also about the way to work, the exposure they have from the people there. Often we speak about gender-neutral toilets, and I know this conversation, trust me, I have had many of those. Often it's not understood. But what if you don't know whether you identify as men or women, are non-binary, or in a transitioning phase? It's about creating this safe space for these people, and also maybe for others who feel completely uncomfortable because they have never had to deal, let's say, with such a situation. Let's support each other in that and always think about that. And when we speak about 7 to 10%, if we look at this room or also outside in our networks, how many do we know that identify as LGBTQ+, especially in Bulgaria? When we started this work here, we pretty much knew hardly anyone in our company. Now, with the efforts in 2 years and hosting an LGBTQ+ roundtable with various companies last year and our co-founder, 5% of our population now identify. And sometimes it's not about taking the biggest actions, but just wearing visible signs that you're an ally and being able to speak about how your weekend was or what you do in your leisure time. What if it's more likely for a person of a white color to be accepted in an interview, even though maybe the CV shows criminal backgrounds? Then it's for a black person with the same CV, even though maybe without criminal backgrounds. What if we judge a person of color more to be aggressive, to be fearful? And of course, there are many biases that they play out, and many biases have also advantages throughout all dimensions. But what if these biases and are wrongdoing towards that community? And what if those microaggressions happen from your day one at birth, basically, throughout your life? And sometimes you might overreact what the other groups might perceive it. But if you constantly perceive those microaggressions, it impacts your mental health, financial inclusion, and looking at also the aging population. 50 or 70% will become 105 years old in the most developed countries in a few years. Who's taking care of the pension when the global retirement age varies between 55 and 70? Who covers the 30, 40 years? So it's our responsibility as people, as organizations and society to really start changing that, to help us each other and change that narrative for the future. Now, what are we doing at SumUp? At SumUp, we want to hire, retain, and develop the best talents. And if we look at the best talents, we need to reduce our unconscious biases to look at the whole pool of talents. Because we truly believe that only if we're diverse, can we also understand our merchants' needs. Only if we're diverse do we have the best talents to find innovative solutions, look at different perspectives, to challenge also a product or a service, and to come up with the best services for our merchants. And what we also believe in is that it's our responsibility to give back to our communities. I was emotionally very touched when I heard the presentation before about the children in need, and I would love to explore opportunities also here in Bulgaria. Maybe we find a way together. So far, we're doing projects on tech education, especially in Latin America, Brazil, Chile, Colombia, where we focus on unemployed youth, minoritized groups. We take affirmative action for girls. We have a higher share of girls that join the program, but also of people of color, migrants, LGBTQ+, people of disabilities, and so on and so forth. 80% of those people are supposed, and we expect that from the organization we collaborate, will find employment after the Java full stack development course. And we want to continue that. That's just the beginning. It's a small drop on the stone. We also collaborate with an NGO in India together, where we finance a tech platform, and over 6,000 kids have benefited from it. We speak about healthcare, of course, and we speak about English, math, and potentially later on also tech education. Before I go into more what we do at SumUp, to give you some examples from the business world here, I'd like to do a little journey with you on the psychology side of let's say, diversity, inclusion, and what hinders us. We spoke about our biases before, and unfortunately, of course, we are all biased. We all believe people that are similar to us, that confirm our biases, are better, We all believe that people are different to us, that we maybe not know so much, let's say, are not as good. And in the systemic transactional analysis, which I'm now referring to, there are 4 quadrants. One quadrant is this, imagine some graphs, 2 graphs in each quadrant. They state, I'm not good, but you're good. In the other quadrant, it's, well, I'm the one who's good, and whatever I do is right, but you're not great. I downgrade you. Sometimes, though, deep down in me, it's, I'm actually not worth it, but that's a different story. And then the third one, imagine there is a quadrant where I say, well, neither I am good enough, nor you are. So in my communication, I'm bad to myself, I'm bad to yourself. And the fourth one is, well, both are at eye level. I respect myself, I respect you. Now, unfortunately, it's not often, probably people are only in this quadrant, but we move around those and now reflect on your own biases, on your own upbringing. Who do you prefer? Who don't you like so much? And why is that the case? Who gave you the opinion in your head? And where is it coming from? And if you look at your surrounding, how are you interacting with people? In which quadrant do you are you based in? Now, looking now at SumUp, and we want to embed D&I throughout our whole life cycle. Now, we are at the beginning, we have done some work, much more to go. But when we speak about the life cycle, of course, it's about attracting the right talents. Where are we looking for our talents? Is it the same universities? Is it the same fairs? Or are we diversifying it? The language we use in our job adverts, the imagery we use. I mean, if you look at some imagery, it's still quite surprising the lack of diversity is used. And then if you continue in the interview panel, do you have diverse representation in the interview panel? And when they also speak about like biases, not only men against women, can also be, of course, women against women or everybody against everybody. There's some research that even at the level of attractiveness has an impact on whether you like to work with that person or not. And after the person is hired, we embed D&I in our education. So we run inclusive leadership workshops, we speak about unconscious bias, privilege, microaggressions, allyship, and of course having different perspective. We speak about the unspoken, creating a safe space for someone to say, well, for me this comment was very uncomfortable, for the other person to be able to say, well, that's fine for me, so let's speak about it so we understand each other. 60% of our leaders have been trained so far, but we also speak about neurodiversity, autism, ADHD, domestic violence and abuse, LGBTQ+, and so on and so forth. We try to gender neutralize our processes and policies, and of course look at our data, not only what is available in our system, but running surveys so we understand the ethnic representation, the LGBTQ+ representation on people with different abilities, and so on and so forth, and can relate that to the feeling of belonging. We run active networks, employee resource groups, and have sponsors, leadership sponsors for that. I'm super happy that even our co-founder and founders are super open for that, so they meet those networks, have drop-in sessions to listen and learn from their experiences. Now, let's take a look at what we have done in a wrap last year. Thank you so much again for having us. It's an honor to be here. I'm looking forward to speaking to many of you and know that we're committed to continue this journey with you here within our societies and especially within Bulgaria. Thank you so much.